Birleşmiş Milletler Güvenlik Konseyi'nden ise zaten bir umudumuz, beklentimiz kalmadı. Görevi küresel barışı.
Turkey's parliament has officially declared a boycott on any companies that are perceived to support Israel. This decision, announced by Parliament Speaker Numan Kurtulus, ordered that these products from the companies no longer find a place in any government-run company, including restaurants, cafeterias, and tea houses. Turkey's decision to boycott certain companies is about showing support for people who are worried that these companies support what they see as Israel's war crimes. Interestingly, they didn't say which companies are involved, keeping everyone curious. Next Gen Economics brings you the latest economic, financial, and global news from different parts of the world. If you're new to our channel and you enjoy learning about the different topics on a global level, you'll find our videos intriguing. In this video, we're going to be discussing how Turkey is feeling about the war that's raging in Palestine. Watch this video till the end and find out what exact cues Turkey took from China. Let's get started. Making things more tense, Turkey has called back its ambassador for Israel for talks. This move suggests that the relationship is even more strained, even though they had been recently trying to improve things before the conflict. What makes it more complicated is that Turkey is getting closer to the Hamas group, known for being part of the disturbing events in Israel on October 7th. This makes the whole situation more complex and dramatic. As Israeli forces intensify their attacks on the Gaza Strip and Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan continues his strong words against Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's government, Ankara is resisting pressure to halt crucial oil shipments to Israel. Large tankers are still transporting oil to Israel from the Turkish port of Ceyhan, where pipelines from Azerbaijan and Iraqi Kurdistan converge, making Turkey a significant oil supplier for Israel. According to analyst Mehmet Agachu from the London Energy Club, most of Israel's oil comes from Azerbaijan or Iraqi Kurdistan, where approximately 40% is supplied by Azerbaijan. This oil travels to Ceyhan and is then sent to an Israeli port before reaching refineries. Despite the increasing death toll from Israel's actions in Gaza, calls for Turkey to cease oil deliveries are growing. Iran's Foreign Minister Hossein Amir-Abdollahian urged companies supplying oil to Israel to stop during a meeting with his Turkish counterpart Hakan Fidan in Ankara, but Fidan ignored the call. Even though Erdogan is escalating his rhetoric against Israel, oil deliveries from Turkey to Israel persist. The effectiveness of any potential Turkish embargo is also in doubt. Analyst Ogachu argues that Israel is unlikely to be significantly affected as oil is abundant in global markets. If Turkey were to cut off the supply, Israel could source oil from other countries with good relations, including Brazil, Canada, and some African nations. But if Turkey wants to exert pressure on Israel, it has alternative means. İlhan Özgel, an international relations expert, suggests that Turkey could disrupt the functioning of the Kurdistan radar station in Malatya, which is crucial to the NATO missile defense system believed to protect Israel's airspace. As Israel continues its attacks on Gaza and Turkish President Erdogan criticizes Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's government, Turkey is not stopping the important oil deliveries to Israel. Big ships are still bringing oil to Israel from a Turkish port called Ceyhan. This port connects the pipelines from Azerbaijan and Iraqi Kurdistan, making Turkey a major oil source for Israel. On November 1st, Turkey's foreign minister still needs to respond to Iran's request to stop sending oil to Israel. During a joint press conference in Ankara about the Israel-Hamas conflict, Iran's top diplomat Hossein Amir-Abdollahian suggested cutting off fuel to Israel and ending diplomatic ties. Turkey's Hakan Fidan didn't address the oil ban idea and instead talked about supporting a two-state solution for Israel and Palestine, offering to help make peace. Amir Abdullahian's suggestion might be aimed at Azerbaijan, Turkey's friend and a main Muslim-majority oil supplier to Israel. Despite criticizing Israel, Turkey still sends oil from Azerbaijan to Israel, and Iran, supporting Armenia against Azerbaijan, does not get along well with Azerbaijan. Be the first to know about our upcoming content. Go ahead and like and subscribe to our channel, and let's get back to Turkey. Iran's top leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, said all Muslim countries need to stop trading with Israel, including selling oil. Amir Abdullahian visited Ankara after meeting with leaders from Qatar and Hamas and Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan. He warned of a big decision in the region if Israel's actions in Gaza continue. The health ministry in Gaza reported that more than 8,800 people, including over 3,600 children, were killed by Israeli attacks. In other news, Reuters said U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken would visit Ankara on November 5th. On October 31st, the U.S. sent bombers to Turkey's Incirlik air base for drills on refueling. Turkey, which is part of NATO, said it had nothing to do with regional conflicts. Some people see the US sending bombers as showing strength during a tense time in the Middle East, but Erdogan hasn't chosen any strong actions yet. He does talk tough against Israel, even going as far as to support Hamas, but his moves on the geopolitical stage are careful. Recently, Turkey recalled its ambassador from Israel, but Erdogan emphasized that diplomatic relations would stay open. He's also said he's working to free the hostages held by Hamas. While Erdogan's words are strong, his actions, at least in terms of the relationship with Israel, are not nearly as harsh, according to Galip Dalay from Chatham House. Dalay thinks burning bridges might hinder Turkey's diplomatic role. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken visited Ankara and indirectly acknowledged Turkey's role in the hostage release efforts. Erdogan is expected to join Arab leaders in Riyadh to discuss the crisis, but Dalay warns that if diplomatic efforts fail and Israel doesn't heed calls for a ceasefire, Turkey and other countries may end up taking punitive action. Erdogan faces pressure from growing protests by his religious supporters against Israel. If the violence continues, there could be more pressure on him to take a tougher stance. Turkey is still sending oil to Israel even though there's tension between them. The narrative suggests that Turkey's leader talks tough and does some things like recalling the ambassador, but when it comes to sending oil, they're more careful. It seems Turkey is thinking about its important role in supplying oil to Israel and how it could affect the relationship. It shows that Turkey is trying to handle the complicated situation around the Israel-Hamas issue by not only using strong words, but also using careful and strategic action. Turkey is interested in Israel for a few reasons. One of the biggest reasons is money. They do business together, and Turkey sends oil to Israel regularly. Even though sometimes the leaders argue they do still trade goods. Another reason is safety, since both countries worry about similar security issues in the region, and in the past they have worked together on defensive initiatives. They also used to be friends back in the day, but things have gotten more complicated over time. Turkey tries to have a say in what happens in the Middle East. The energy part that we mentioned is very important, as Turkey helps move oil and gas from Azerbaijan to Israel. So even though leaders may not always agree, the two countries have a history and some common interests that, at least for now, will keep them linked. Join the conversation and share your insights. We want to hear your perspective on Turkey's role in the global oil market and how that affects Israel. Your thoughts matter, so please drop them in the comments down below.